Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far, and welcome to today's video, which is going to be my November roundup, where I'm sharing all of the good, bad, ugly and in between updates on everything new that I tried in the month of November. And this month I'm also including a gigantic Christmas giveaway for you guys, so you will want to stay tuned right till the end. Let's get started. Okay, so I have been squirreling away makeup and products for you guys in this little box that I have over here. One of you will be winning this prize, and it is a great one. Lots of my absolute favorite products in here. Here is the prize all laid out. We've got the Pillow Talk gift set from Charlotte Tilbury. We've got the Nars holiday blush set. We've got BK Beauty lashes, YSL lipsticks. We've got Benefit Professional primer. We've got one of the Urban Decay Hydromaniac blushes. We've got the Moondust shadow. You guys know how much I love that from Urban Decay. Charlotte Tilbury highlighter and eyeshadow quad. We've got Ciate palette, some Charlotte Tilbury lip products, Nars lip products, Shiseido lip products. We've got some Florasis products in there. There is something for everybody in this whopper of a prize. So make sure that you watch all the way until the end to find out how to win this giveaway. All the details will be at the end of the video. Wow, what a month it has been. It's been a great month. Just looking at these products on the desk in front of me, it's been a brilliant month for makeup, for beauty in this house at least. So starting off with fragrance, I did warn you last month that there will be 2 fragrances in this month because I ordered one a long time ago. It took a good couple of weeks to get here because it was coming from France. And this is Mancera's Amore Caffe. She's delicious. I included this in my winter faves video, so you'll already know. I love this perfume. Mancera fragrances always perform incredibly well. You never need to worry about the performance. If you like the scent profile of one of their perfumes, it will almost be guaranteed to be an absolute performance bomb, amazing sillage, amazing longevity, because the house just never really fails on that. This is, I think, my 3rd or 4th Mancera fragrance that I own, and it's no different from the others. It's got incredible all day and the next day through a shower longevity. And the sillage, it's not room-fillingly obnoxious, but it is certainly, you know, a couple of feet wafts, everybody complimenting you all day, every day. Not all fragrances are easy to describe. I feel like this one really is. It is literally a very boozy affogato. That's exactly what it smells like. If you imagine an affogato with a really hefty amount of amaretto in there, that's exactly what this smells like. It's got such a warm, spicy, boozy kick, but it's also obviously got a gorgeous, smooth, beautiful, very realistic coffee note. And that is the body of the fragrance. Amaretto, coffee, and a real creamy sort of blend. It's so beautiful. It's a perfect winter fragrance. It's very warm, it's very spicy, it's very boozy, and it literally makes you feel like you've just had a glorious amaretto on the rocks and now you're feeling cozy and warm and probably opening Christmas presents. That's what this conjures up. Whenever I'm doing my wrapping session, I will sit down with a bottle of amaretto. I don't drink the whole bottle, I just like to point that out. But I like to sit down and have a couple of glasses of amaretto on the rocks as I do my wrapping and watch The Holiday. That is like my absolute happy place. And I have a delightful time. And this very much represents like that mood for me. It's gorgeous. The second fragrance I bought the full bottle of this month is Parfums de Marly's Althaiir. I talked about the sample in, I think, October's roundup, and I have ended up with a full bottle. Let me tell you, this was not an instant love, I need a full bottle. With the sample, I definitely went on a bit of a journey. I started off like, it's absolutely not what I expected whatsoever. So I was surprised and maybe even a little disappointed just because it wasn't what I expected. But I kept going back to wear it, and then it became, wait, I'm liking this, and my samples run out and I really want to wear it again. So I'm going to buy the full bottle. And now it's a full-on head over heels, can't stop wearing it, and would buy it again tomorrow if this bottle ran out. One of my all-time favourite ever fragrances. It's fully gone on my top shelf in my fragrance storage, and it is an absolute top 5 of all time. Isn't it crazy how fragrances do that? And I think it was solely just because it was so different to what I was expecting. The performance is perfect. You know, given that it's winter here and it's cold and my skin is cold and it's getting no help to perform from warm weather, warm skin, it's performing perfectly for what I want for an everyday office friendly fragrance. The longevity is amazing. Like, again, a full day, the next day, on clothes 4 days. The sillage is one that other people are going to get wafts of you and you are going to get compliments, but it's not going to annoy anyone. It's not going to bother anyone. It's not going to give anyone a headache. It's not a super potent room filler. It's such an all year round, every day of your life perfume. There's no occasion this wouldn't work for. It's sexy. It's a little sweet, but never like crosses into gourmand territory. The caramel dry down on this is divine, but it's never like sickly or cloying. It's just a little hint of delicious sweetness, but it stays quite musky and like almost a little bit of freshness in there as well. The opening really reminds me of Valleja from the same Parfums de Marly house. The opening kind of is a bit like that, like kind of, is it fresh, is it a bit musky? It's a bit fruity, and then as it dries down, it just becomes a little warm, a little sweet. It's so beautiful, it's so special, and it's grown and grown on me into an absolute love of my life. I think if you crave a little bit of sweetness, but you're not really a gourmand type of person, that is like, is it a gourmand? But for people who don't like gourmands, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Sonia G's Fundamental Eyes series. Oh, it's a proper wow from me. I love Sonia G brushes. You know, I have a lot of them. I was gifted this brush set for transparency. I absolutely love these. If you want to buy one brush set or one Sonia G eye set, then this is the one I would recommend. It's so comprehensive. There's nothing missing. You've got options for blending and crease brushes. You've got options for lower lash line, inner corner, for lid packing, for smoking out, for more precise, for hooded eyes. It's so comprehensive. You've got the perfect brushes for every single job. I used these in my trying new makeup video a few weeks ago if you want to see the set in action, but you can't go wrong. They're just excellent, and I'm barely using anything else for my eyeshadow at the moment. It's just, if you want to like save up and invest in one set for the eyes, this would be the one that I would recommend. I love the walnut handles as well. They just feel so luxurious to me. If you're interested in picking up a couple of singles, I would go for the ones that most special and stand out to me would be the Builder M. It's that flat brush, perfect for lid packing, lower lash line, inner corner, brow, very versatile little brush. I love the Crease L as well because it feels like something we haven't really had from Sonia before. Is that big fluffy crease blending brush, workhorse, absolutely perfect. And then the Builder S, again, it's the absolute perfect lid packing shade, inner corner shade. It's got a lot of versatility. You can do really precise work with this, and it's a really nice size if you have smaller mobile lids or a hooded eye, so you've got a bit less space to work with. This is so much more precise than like any other flat lid packing type of brush that I own or have seen, so it's absolutely perfect. I mean, you can't go wrong. The set is amazing. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite ever eye set from Sonia. The best one. Another little brush set that came out this month, it's been a great month for brushes, hasn't it, was the Nikki LaRose by BK Beauty set. Such an amazing set if you want to use more synthetic brushes and a much more affordable price point. These are amazing. My absolute favorites are this brush, right? I know this is not, I'm sure, the intended purpose at all. The N14, which is a sort of large powder, like fluffy sort of under eye powder type of brush. This is the perfect one and done like matte shadow for like everyday looks. I do that quite often. I'll just get any sort of matte transition shade and I whack it all over the lid and blend it up towards the brow. This is the only brush I've been using to do that with. I absolutely love it. It's so big and fluffy and light, and it is perfect for that purpose. That's what I've been using this for, like a one and done all over the lid. you know, everyday, very quick, no makeup eyeshadow look, and it's perfect. I love the handles. They're light, but nice and long and easy to control, and they've got really nice feel in the hand, very easy to hold and use. But for me, the utter standout of this collection is the N16, which is the concealer brush, the one I stupidly didn't use in my testing new makeup video, but I have used it non-stop ever since. This is my favorite concealer brush I've ever tried, bar none. And the previous one was BK Beauty as well. I mean, BK Beauty can do a concealer brush like nobody else, clearly. It's so good. It lets you keep all of the coverage while giving you such an easy, diffused look. So there's no heaviness, there's no cakiness, there's no need to go in with a sponge. It literally just diffuses the concealer, but you keep all of your coverage, but with a really light amount. A mature skin delight. That's the perfect thing that you need. If you have lines, if you've got early signs of aging, the under eye area is a very challenging little space, okay? Especially when you start packing high coverage concealers there, it's rough on those lines. This concealer brush is exactly the answer to being able to keep coverage and having a nice amount of coverage and getting those dark circles that we definitely don't have. But for those who do, you know, you can use such a high coverage, heavy, thick concealer and you'll diffuse it out with this and it will be barely there, but you've somehow got all the coverage left still. I absolutely love it. Can no longer do my makeup without it. So those from that collection would be my absolute favorites. I've also been using the N11 for like all kinds of random jobs I don't think it's designed for, you know, whether it's like pulling eyeliner up into a wing, cleaning up and rubbing out little mistakes, eyebrow highlighting in a corner. I've even used this to put eyeshadow on my lid. I'm just using these brushes in no way in the way that they were intended. But at the same time, you know, Nikki said in her like launch video that she designed this brush set to be so versatile and every brush to do like numerous jobs, and clearly she smashed it, and that's exactly what it does. Okay, so next up we have the Pretty Grunge collection from Huda. I love this palette. I love this eyeshadow palette so much. I just used this in my holiday makeup look. If you saw that, this was the palette you guys voted me to use. It's such a workhorse. It's so good. You can easily do a one and done no makeup look in here with multiple options for a transitional shade. You can do an everyday office look, or you can literally do your New Year's Eve full on as glam as it comes look out of here. Very versatile, beautiful formulas. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite Huda palette ever. I think the mattes have improved so much. They're so much less dry. I found Huda Beauty mattes in earlier palettes to be a little dry. Okay to blend and everything and fine on the eye, but they could be a little dry. These, no. They're so much better. The formulas are amazing. I love the color story. It's my favorite palette from Huda, bar none. One of my favorite palettes of the year. Now the blush, do you see what has happened to this? This is not what this looked like when it arrived. How weird is this? How weird is it? It was like white or silver, I guess, when it arrived, but then it morphs into this on the cheeks. Now it's just that colour all over. It's really weird. It feels so strange. It's such an interesting formula. I didn't think I would like this at all. I thought it would be very sticky. I didn't think I would like the colour, but I found it, if you watch my review, very easy to use actually, really easy to use, and a very pretty sort of plummy shade is the shade that it kind of took on my cheeks, and I really liked it. I don't like this packaging. I wish it wasn't see-through, and I wish it had a mirror. Really taking a deep look in the mirror at myself and into my soul. I can't see myself using that very often because you guys know I'm not really a cream girl, and that wouldn't really be my preference of a formula. And although I've got on fine with it, it's just those types of formulas, I just don't reach for them very often. So I will say it won't get a lot of use in this house, but there's no logical reason to that. It's just me. It's the way I am. Okay, old dog, new tricks, can't be done. But I will say it's through no fault of its own. It's lovely. It's very pretty. And if you like a cream blush or that sort of like gel consistency almost, then you will probably love it way more than me. It's just not typically my type, but it hasn't done anything wrong. It's me. It's not you, it's me. The Natasha Denona Xenon palette, definitely one that I purchased for review purposes. Clearly looking at this, it's just not the type of eyeshadow that I use very frequently, but I was extremely surprised at how much I like and appreciate it, and actually how much more wearable I could make it for myself than I thought. I think this is such a special palette, and I think people who love these colour stories are so robbed of options. It's just such a great, clever colour story from Natasha Denona. Of course, the formulas are incredible. It's Natasha Denona midi palette. They are always very strong. We've got exactly the formulas we love from her. Those really soft, creamy mattes that blend themselves forever and are really buildable and beautiful. We've got the really impactful formulas that we wanted her to bring back, that she lost for a moment, but she's found them again, thank goodness. So many gorgeous options in here. I've got a lot more use out of it than I thought that I would, and I'm way less scared and intimidated of it than I thought I would be. I really love it. I think it's beautiful and actually far more flattering than I thought. An absolute blinder, a belter of a palette, glorious. And finally, I think, yes, for the eyeshadow palettes this month, this little number from What's Up Beauty. This is the Dragon Eye palette, the one I'm wearing on my eyes today. And I had so many comments from you guys saying, oh my gosh, like you've managed to get a wearable look. It's obviously not a palette. When you see this, you don't think that's a Charlotte palette, do you? You see like the Huda Beauty, or you see like Natasha Denona's Bieber, and you think that's a Charlotte palette. This looks like something that would terrify me, and it does. But this is the third look I've done with this palette, and I've used almost all of the shades in here now. I think the only one I haven't used is this really terrifying, like very bright green. I think that's the only one I haven't used, and every time I just love how the look turns out, and I find it so much more wearable than it looks and than I thought. The formulas are so nice. The mattes are really light and buildable. Like, they're not lacking pigmentation, but they also aren't so pigmented, like for mattes, that they're scary to use and they won't blend out, and they're like, there's too much pigment packing on initially. They build really softly and are very easy to blend. Beautiful mattes. And I think the reason I like it so much more than I thought, and can use it so much more than I thought, is because of the mattes that were included in here are so clever. You know, if this palette had all those colourful shimmers and then super colourful mattes as well, I just wouldn't be able to, you know, pull off a look that I was happy with, that was in like my very small comfort zone, the little box I like to stay packed away in. I wouldn't be able to do it. But because the mattes in here, there are so many options for keeping a more natural matte look, that then the colourful shimmers aren't as terrifying or intimidating, because overall you're kind of staying as neutral as you want to and as natural as you want to, and then just having a really fun shimmer that has some colour on the lid. So it's my perfect way of like dipping a toe into something more colourful and more creative without it being unwearable for me. And I was so surprised by it. I know you guys were so surprised by it, because so many of you told me, I can't believe that you would use that palette, or that you've pulled off a look that looks so wearable and like my type of makeup. But it's so pretty, and the shimmers are just utterly stunning. The shifts and the impact. It also has nowhere near the amount of fallout that you would expect from these type of shimmers. It's really surprising. Every time I'll sometimes go in with a finger just to get maximum impact from them, and I'm waiting for the feeling of like a million bits of dust falling onto my cheeks, and it just doesn't come. It's such a great palette, and I think it's the most sort of intimidating to look at palette in my collection that I actually really like and really reach for. Next up, we have a concealer, one concealer that I tried this month, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster. It's the Estee Lauder Futurist Soft Touch Brightening Concealer. When I initially used this, I thought I really liked it, and I wanted to continue using it and really get to grips with what I thought. We've now reached the end of the testing process. It's been a few weeks of using this, and I don't like it, and I'm not going to continue to use it, sadly. I don't like the doe foot, and I said this in my review. I don't know why Estee Lauder always try to do a different type of doe foot, because there's a reason that doe foots typically follow a sort of teardrop shape, quite flat, with a really precise tip. There's a reason why almost every brand does that. It's because that's the ideal shape. We want to get right in our inner corners. We want to carve out eyeshadow. We might want to get around our nose, down the bridge of our nose. We need something that's quite precise and is able to do that. And this one is so like round and chunky. It just can't be precise. It's very hard to get close to the inner corner of your eye. You can't get it really down your nose without a big struggle, and it's quite hard. So it also doesn't deposit much product. You're there for about 15 minutes just trying to get the product where you want it. The concealer itself, the consistency, the blending, everything is great. Where this falls down for me is on occasion, this has separated a little throughout the day. It hasn't done it every time I've worn it, but I can't rely on it. It doesn't like work every time. I've tried it with a brush, I've tried it with a sponge, and it may be just like how long of a day I've had or how challenging of a day, whether, you know, I've been running errands a lot or the heating's been on a lot or it's been very cold outside. But what I find is that there's been several days where I've worn this where by the end of the day, or, you know, 5-6 hours in, we've got quite a bit of like separating, fading, and it just doesn't look good as it wears throughout the day. So this is not going to make it into my top drawer or my regular rotation. We're done, we're breaking up. It started off promisingly, but that did not continue. I picked up a single eyeshadow. I talked about this in my Black Friday recommendations for Hourglass and then in my haul video. And this is the Scattered Light shadow from Hourglass in the shade Smoke. This has become my all-time favorite one and done eyeshadow. It's so pretty. It's the perfect softer taupe with so much reflection and like sheen and wetness to the finish. It's just the perfect one and done shade. I absolutely love it. I've had so many compliments on this shadow whenever I've worn it. All I do is I put it all over the lid and then blend it up towards my brow, and then I'll run it under my lower lash line as well. One and done takes 20 seconds and it's just perfect. It looks like you've made a lot of effort, but you definitely didn't. I absolutely love it. It's so wearable, so easy, but so effective. And it looks like you've done like a whole look, but you really haven't. I love stuff like that. Okay. I'm lazy. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Anything that looks really effective and looks like I've put a lot of effort in, but I in fact have not, is right up my street. Next up, 2 mascaras this month that I tried. Very different mascaras. First up, the Burberry mascara that I have on my lashes today. I love this. I really, really like it. It's the type of mascara that I've been leaning towards recently and really becoming like the kind of mascara I just love. Really separated, fanned out, sort of cat eye, spikier looking lashes, lots of length and lift, but not a huge amount of volume. That's kind of where I'm hanging out in mascara world these days. That's what I look for. That's what I'm liking and enjoying. And this is exactly that type of mascara. It combs through the lashes, keeps them separated, no clumping, no flaking, easy to remove at the end of the day, no smudging. It's very easy to use on the lower lashes as well as the upper lashes, gets all of them from the inner corner, outer corner. Everything great about it. I don't prefer this to the Roller Lash or the Benefit Fan one. What is that, Fan Fest? Is that right? Those two are the same type of mascara as this one. Charlotte Tilbury is also kind of similar to that one. It's obviously a very different wand and everything, but those are like my favorites in this category. This one isn't quite as kapow as those. Those are all a little more dramatic than this one. And it takes me like less coats to get the look that I want. It's just not quite as dramatic as those others. So it's not like a top 2 or 3 favorite, but I did really like it. And if you want slightly more natural results than those ones that I love, then this will be perfect for you. And then there's the Estee Lauder Turbo Lash Mascara, which interestingly, a similar kind of journey that I went on with the concealer. So I tried this in my most recent trying new makeup video, I think. And I was very surprised because it gave me so much impact and drama, and I just didn't think Estee Lauder were kind of doing the dramatic makeup. I kind of expected their mascaras to be very natural and understated. That's just kind of how I envision the brand's vision. So I was very surprised when it actually gave me full fat volume, very dramatic lash effect. We've already discussed the shape of the tube is questionable, but that is what it is. Unfortunately, over like the last couple of weeks that I've now been trying this back and forth, it's really hit and miss as to how it goes with the application. The first time I used it fresh out of the tube in my trying new makeup video, I got along beautifully with it, but since then it's very easy for this to start getting clumpy and getting quite tricky to get a smooth application. Multiple times I've used this, I've had to go in afterwards with my lash comb to get rid of clumps and to get rid of lashes that you didn't want sticking together in a strange way. And it's just, yeah, it becomes a little clumpy. I want like the volume and the drama. I like that. And there'll be days when I want the, you know, the full on, you know, Lancome Monsieur big days back in the day when I used to love the really clumpy looking lash. I could still have a moment enjoying that, but I don't want lumps and clumps that you can't really get rid of and that are tricky to get rid of. I don't want all my lashes sticking together and not in a good way. And so, yeah, it's a little unreliable. I don't know if it's just that it's aged really quickly and it was only performed great the first couple of times and then it aged really quickly and it wasn't performing as well anymore. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was definitely not one that I would repurchase or will keep really using because I've had problems with it just becoming too clumpy, too sticky together-y, and yeah, we fell out of love very quickly. It was like a one night stand, maybe two. Next up, the new highlighter that I got in PR from YSL. I really wanted to like this. I really did, even though it's a liquid highlighter. So typically I know this could go south. When you swatch this, it just looks so pretty. And I think if you wanted to use this on the skin alone or under foundation, that will be absolutely fine. But I just can't get this to go nicely on top of my foundation. It picks everything up and it makes a bit of a sort of a paste. I don't even know how to describe it. It just starts like caking together with everything. I can't get it to apply nicely. And sometimes what will happen is I'll get it to apply nicely on one cheek, but one cheek is always a disaster. It's too hard for me. I can't do it. I need very easy products, especially when it comes to cream and liquid cheek products. If they're not completely idiot and foolproof, I'm not going to be able to use them because I don't know what it is with me and creams, but there's just so many I can't use and it just always ends up looking a mess or picking up what's underneath or not blending nicely or disappearing my bronzer or whatever it is. And if it's not going to be easy, I'll just use powder, you know? Why would I put myself through the pain and the potential shame of walking around with congealed cheeks? I wouldn't do that. Who would? So this is a real shame because I think it looks so pretty when I swatch it, and if I use it on bare skin, it's so pretty in that glassy, you know, glow that is very smooth and flattering and pretty, but not if I put it on over foundation. And I don't really put glowy products on if I'm just going barefaced throughout the day. I'd rather use more of a priming product. I need this to work over, at least over foundation. I'm not asking for much. I'm not asking for it to work over the top of powder or powder bronzer or powder blush. I just want it to work nicely over the top of my foundation, and it won't do it. So that one is just going to never be used again, and I'm very sad about it. Next up, the only product that I ended up purchasing from Pat McGrath's holiday collection this year. If you missed it, I placed a whole big order for eyeshadow palettes and cheek products, and then I cancelled it when 3 weeks after I'd ordered and paid for it, they still hadn't even like dispatched it. So I cancelled that order, and then I picked this up when it came here to Selfridges, and I'm so glad I did. I very much just sort of cancelled the whole collection in my mind and thought they just ceased to exist to me. But I'm glad that I picked this one up because it's just so easygoing and pretty, and I thought that the highlighter in here would be a highlighter for me. This is the medium palette, so I would have thought that this would be a highlighter on my skin, but it is very much a highlighting blush and I'm not mad about it. I really love it. It's so pretty and it's got that lovely shift, and it very much reminds me, although it's not the same formula, but it very much reminds me of the really pretty coral that is in that Hatbox Bridgerton blush palette that I really love and wish was more usable like this. It's not quite the same, but it's got a similar shift and a similar colour to it, and it's lovely and glowy. This is going to be coming with me every time I go somewhere and need to take makeup with me, holidays, trips, visits. This is just perfect. You can use this on the eye. Everything in here works really nicely. It's just perfect, like everyday makeup in a travel friendly way, and I really like it, probably a lot more than I thought that I would. So I'm glad that I hung in there and picked it up despite Pat McGrath's best efforts to keep it from me for some reason. I don't know what it is with Pat McGrath and them just not wanting you to have the products you ordered. They really don't want us to receive them. I don't know why. Next up, the Leopard palette. I've said it once, but I've got to tell you again, this cost me £35, guys. 30 something pounds, I can't remember, but it started with a 3. I just feel so smug about it. It was, I think, 25% off on Cult Beauty, and then I had a load of points saved up from like the loyalty card. What is she going on? The loyalty points I had saved up, and it ended up being 30 something pounds. I think 34 or 5, something like that. I'm not going to lie to you, it makes me love it even more. I was so chuffed with the price that I love it even more than I thought I would. It's just the most all around usable for every day for me and for my skin tone. There's nothing in here that you're like, oh, that's a bit much for today. Whack any of this on all over your face and you're going to look delightful. It's absolutely a joy and a beautiful palette. All of the shades in here are right up my street. The highlighter is also, although it's quite intense for like my typical preference, it is very smooth and like glassy, so that makes up for it. And you really can use it quite softly if you just diffuse it out. It blends beautifully on the skin. You know, I can use everything in here all day, every day, and it's just the prettiest effect when you use it all together. I always love these palettes. This one did have, you know, some repeat shades in there. Of course, typically they do, but I think I only own like one, like obviously dim light, we've all got 53 of those at this point, but at the same time, it's the right sort of tone for my skin tone, so that's not a bad thing necessarily. The bronzer I think was in Elephant last year, and then of course, is it Mood Exposure is in here? Yeah, so Mood Exposure again, I've been talking about how much I loved that blush. So I do have that blush, but I didn't have these two, or the highlighter I think was all new to me, and it's just lovely to have it all in one place. I think this may well be my favourite ever. I'm still going back and forth between this and Snake. I need to make a final decision, but I don't know that I can. I just love them both. I love those palettes, and that one is an absolute belter. And the fact that it was like a third of the price makes me love her even more. Maybe that one will tip me over the edge just because I feel so great about the value for money that I got there. You know, it really reminds us that the whole like wait for sale mantra just really pays off sometimes, because the smugness you get to feel, there's nothing like it. Next up, the Nars Holiday Blush Palette finally arrived, and oh my goodness. I mean, I get these every year, and much like the Hourglass ones, I get these every year and I never get bored of them. I never get bored of them. I have now used every shade in here, and let me tell you the power, the willpower that it took me to force myself to put this one on my face this morning. I really didn't, I was fighting it. I was desperate to put these two, which are my absolute, I mean, look at these. These are so beautiful, that peachy nude shade. And then you've got this glorious shade here that looks really scary, but I like to use these two together. This one all over the cheeks and a little bit of this, and it's like hot chocolate cheeks. Glorious chocolatey warmth, such a beautiful combination. And then sometimes I'll even whack a little bit of this one over the top if I just want a bit of a sheen, a bit more of a sheen, because all of these blushes are sheeny, but if I want even more sheen, I'll do a bit of this one over the top. And I've just been loving staying in that cheeky little comfort zone that I'm so comfy in. And then today I was like, no, we're going to review this palette. I'm going to talk about it in my roundup. I have to have tried every shade in here. I forced myself to put this one on my cheeks, and It's so pretty, and I like it so much more than I thought. This looks like my nightmare. I feel like it looks different on camera than it does in person. To me, looking at this in person, it looks very lilac, like cool lavendery shade. My absolute nightmare. I would never buy a blush that colour. And so I forced it onto my cheeks today against my will so that I could report back on the full colour story in here. And it's so pretty. It's a really nice wearable sheen. It's got a gorgeous kind of almost a little mauvey on the cheeks on me, and I absolutely would wear that again. This one is the most scary for me. It is, you know, very rich berry shade, but again, used lightly. It's so pretty, and the sheen of these blushes, I was going to say shadows, the sheen of these blushes is just so beautiful. It's so smooth. I love the formulas in here. Here are all the blush shades together. I mean, glorious, isn't it? It's just beautiful. The highlighters in these palettes, I always neglect them and just like forget that they're in there, because I think, you know, these palettes for me, they're all about the blush. I would like the highlight taken out and just give me 6 blushes, please. So I don't even really think about using it, but I used the highlighter today. It's so much nicer and prettier and more flattering and natural than you would think. I think I look at it and I'm not necessarily associate Nars with a really gorgeous, smooth, flattering highlight formula, but it's beautiful. I think it also looks like it might be too deep for me. It looks quite gold, like a deeper champagne, but it's so pretty. It's smoother, it's luminous, it's very flattering. This is such a glorious palette. I'm sure you'll be able to get this in the sale at least slightly reduced. I think it might be my new favorite of these palettes that I've ever tried. I love that gelée formula, that sort of hybrid formula that is in this one. The packaging is really pretty and perfectly festive with the gold sparkle, and it's so wearable. The neutrals in there, you know, are right up my street, but even those really intimidating looking shades are more wearable than I thought they were going to be. Okay, so I tried quite a few lip products this month that were new to me. First up, the one on my lips right now. This is one of the Tom Ford Ultra Shines, which, believe it or not, I've never tried before. What a failure yet again. I ordered this solely because there was a shade that I saw in Selfridges called Char, C-H-A-R, which is what my family and friends call me. And so obviously I had to buy it. It's like a lipstick with my name on it. Obviously, that's coming home with me. And then when it arrived, it didn't say Char on it. It was the wrong shade. They sent me the shade Nudiste. And so then I went on Selfridges live chat, and oh my goodness, the pain I experienced. 10 minutes to reply every time. Like, they were taking 10 minutes to reply when I was just saying, here's my order number. 10 minutes. You sent me the wrong lipstick colour. 10 minutes. They'd asked me to send a photo of the lipstick, so I sent them a photo of the wrong name on the box. 10 minutes, and they asked me to send them more photos, and I was like, what do you want? What do you want a photo of? The delivery, what's going to help you here other than seeing that the name is not the one I ordered? What more could you possibly want from me? And it went back and forth for what felt like an eternity. And then it like just cut off. And I honestly just gave up on life, and I just couldn't be bothered to continue down this horrifying road. I was too tired. So I just thought, forget it. I'm just going to keep it. And I tried it on. I'm flipping obsessed with it. So although it doesn't say my name on it, it's so beautiful. And it's exactly like the colour I've been looking for recently. I've really been looking for like a really wearable, like mauve, but a bit deeper lipstick with shine. And this is exactly it. It's like Selfridges went, no, you don't want that one, you want this one. And they just made up the decision for me. And I'm not mad at it, to be honest, because I love it. So, you know, some of these customer services failures actually turn out beautifully in the end. Very rarely, but occasionally. Next up, the MAC Locked Kiss lipsticks. I tried these out in my trying new makeup video. I've had these for a good while now. I really like them. These are a bullet, like dry down Prancer, Dancer, Donna and Blitzen. Transfer proof. Did I just get that on my face? These are a transfer proof bullet lipstick. So they're like a liquid lipstick dry down sets, impenetrable to anything, but they are not liquid. They are very much like the Rouge Dior Forever lipsticks, very similar. I think the Dior are slightly smoother and they feel nice on the lips to me, but these are excellent. They do not move. My favorite shade is Mullet Over and Over, which I just think is the perfect wearable, really nice, beautiful, neutral sort of nude. Really like them. I like the packaging, like everything about them. They wear beautifully. They're not overly drying. I will say that there isn't a huge price difference, as you would expect, between the MAC and the Dior. So it's really going to come down to which colours you'd like, which brand you'd maybe prefer to purchase from. There's not a huge difference. I do think the Dior slightly edges it with the lip feel, but it's not a huge difference at the same time. So these are excellent. Really, really nice lip formula from MAC. Perfect sort of lipstick if you want something that is going to make it through dinner, that's going to be matte, but it's not going to make you regret all of your life decisions a few hours in and your lips start like flaking off your face. So we love that. The Burberry lip relaunch, let's call it, in the satin formula. I didn't pick up any of the mattes, obviously. I picked up 2 of the satins and I really like these. This is the shade Monogram Brown, which I really like. It's kind of a richer chocolatey brown shade. They're very nice satin lipsticks. Nothing has really changed. My thoughts on these still annoys me that you have to get it the right way around to close the bullet, but they are just a quite nice satin lipstick. I don't find them particularly special or wow factor or something that you should rush out and spend lots of money buying 10 of. I think they're a pretty average, nice, nothing wrong with it formula, but also nothing that's really wowing me about them. I probably won't purchase any more, but there's also nothing that they've done wrong. They're just fine, you know? Nothing life-changing, nothing, you know, you can't miss these, go out and buy them. Nothing on that level. The Charlotte Tilbury Rock Lips also arrived a little late to the game for me. These are the Elton John Charlotte Tilbury collaboration lipsticks. There are 2 shades. Rocket Girl is the more sort of lighter nude shade, and then Ready for Lust is the very rich berry shade that has like glitter sparkles running all the way through it. Ready for Lust is definitely not the type of shade I like. I just don't like this shade on me at all, this sort of berry shade. But Rocket Girl I really like. I really love that. I did a reel showing these on the lips, just lip swatching these, and I fully thought this will be too light for me. I thought I wouldn't be able to wear it with a liner and it's going to be too light because it just looked like it based on the swatches, but you can see it's actually a bit deeper than you think. A really nice flattering nude, right up my street, and I really like that formula. I didn't love Ready for Lust. You can kind of feel the glitter on the lips, so it feels ever so slightly grainy, which isn't a big deal for me, but I just don't really love those sorts of deeper berry shades on me. It's just not really my type of shade, but Rocket Girl I really liked. And finally, for the lip products I tried this month, the Louboutin. Oh my goodness, these are the stiletto lipsticks. I love these so much. I love the packaging and I love the formula as well. I don't think there's really any other shades so far that they've released that I want to run out and buy, but if there were, I would buy more. I think they are so pretty. I love the shiny finish, and the colours I picked up I really like. They're so comfortable and they give you that sort of plumper, fuller lip effect because they're just nice and shiny and very smooth and flattering on the texture on your lips. I really like these. They're very comfortable, very easygoing, and the packaging is just so fun. I love them. I would absolutely buy more. I just don't think there are any more shades that I'm specifically drawn to. And finally, I want to talk about the Rare Beauty Brow Gel. This is the flexible lifting gel. I don't know why it's so small. That's the only negative thing I have to say about this. Also, I'm sure I heard that this was limited edition, but I have no clue why an eyebrow gel would be limited edition. So maybe I've made that up, but I feel like I heard that. Did anyone else hear that? Please tell me. I'm not going mad. I'm not losing my marbles. Please tell me. So I bought this weeks ago because it was one of these products that sold out like instantly in the US. And when it came here, I was like poised, ready to battle to get one because I know it sold out so quickly there and people have been raving about this. And I was determined to get my filthy little mitts on it and find out for myself if the hype was real. But then when it finally arrived, I'd literally just had my brows laminated, so there was no point trying to test it out on freshly laminated brows that will literally do anything you ask them to, just using a spoon. So I've been waiting for weeks for like my lamination to wear off enough for me to try the gel, which has only been in like the last week, and it is the best brow gel, like this classic type of brow gel I've ever used. It's so much better than the Benefit. I don't love the brush, that's what I will say. It's very small. This whole thing feels like a tester, a sample. It's very small, and therefore the wand is very small. I do prefer the Benefit like flat wand or brush for this because it helps you sort of flatten and really, you know, push your brows where you want them. But this is so good. It really does hold your brows wherever you place them. It's amazing. And my brows are not easy. That's why I have to have them laminated, because no ordinary gel can hold them. They won't be tamed, and they're very, I don't know if they're curly necessarily. They're not like, you know, permed, but they are difficult, and they're not straight. They're kind of wavy, I guess. And this, you know, flattens and straightens them and puts them beautifully neatly wherever I would like them to be, and stays there with no residue, and they don't mess up like my foundation. I don't have to wipe around my brows like I do with something like the pomades that are really popular now, like the pot brow pomades. They can annoy your makeup if you don't wipe all around your brows before you go in with like foundation and eyeshadow and everything. This doesn't do that. It doesn't leave a residue. It holds them in place all day long. I really hope this isn't limited edition, because I would repurchase this absolutely. It's my favorite, more classic brow gel that I've ever found. Okay, so let's talk about this giveaway and how to enter and win and all of that good stuff. So I think this video will be going up on Wednesday the 6th. I have to leave a very short window for you to enter the giveaway because we're getting really close to Christmas, and soon the shipping and parcels and delivery is going to be a whole mess, and I don't want you to wait weeks and weeks for the prize to come, or it get lost in the mayhem as you get closer to Christmas. I want this to go out as soon as possible so that you can hopefully get it before Christmas and it not go missing. So I am only going to give you until midday on Saturday the 9th to enter UK time. That's the time you've got to enter. What you need to do to enter is you must be subscribed to me here, and you must be following me over on Instagram. Here is my handle, and then all you need to do is comment down below, tell me your favorite thing from this video, your favorite product from this video, and make sure you put your Instagram handle in your comments so that I can find you, and that is how I will contact you. I will not be replying to you telling you to WhatsApp me or Telegram me, okay? Those are scammers. How I will contact you is that I will send you a DM on Instagram saying that you have won, and you will be able to easily check it's me because you can click on the message and you'll go to my profile and you'll see it's me, you'll see that you're following me, and you will be able to easily check that that's definitely me who is messaging you. I will never ask you for any information other than your address so I can post you your prize. I will never ask you to pay for the delivery or ask you for money ever. If someone is doing that, it is not me, it is a scam. Back away. So there you have it. That is all of my products that I tried new to me in the month of November. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, and good luck to everybody who is entering to win this prize. I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.